My sister stole my inheritance, so I took something she can never replace. I'm 29 Fahrenheit, and my family's always been a bit of a mess. There's me, my older sister Claire, 32F, and our younger brother Max, 25M. Growing up, Claire was the golden child, charming, confident, and always the center of attention. She had this knack for making people adore her, especially our parents. I was the quiet, responsible one, always cleaning up messes, literal and figurative. Max was the baby, sweet, but often caught in the middle of our chaos. Our parents weren't wealthy, but they worked hard. Dad was a mechanic, Mom a school secretary. They owned a modest 3-bedroom house in a small town, worth about $300,000 by the time everything went down. They also had a savings account, maybe $150,000, built up over years of scrimping. Mom always said it was for you kids' future. College, a house, a start in life. She was big on fairness, or so I thought. Claire, though, was always Mom's favorite. When I was 12, Claire got a brand new bike for her birthday. I got a used one from a garage sale. When Claire wanted art lessons, Mom paid for them. But when I asked for coding camp, it was too expensive. Max got the least attention, which made him cling to me more than Claire. I didn't mind. Max was a good kid, even if he was a bit lost. Things got worse when Dad died. I was 15, Claire 18, Max 11. He had a heart attack out of nowhere and it shattered us. Mom became distant, leaning on Claire for emotional support. Claire played the part perfectly, acting like the dutiful daughter while I picked up the slack, cooking, helping Max with homework, keeping the house together. Claire was off at college by then, coming home to bask in Mom's praise while I was stuck in survival mode. Looking back, I see how Claire honed her manipulation skills. She'd cry to Mom about stress and walk away with extra cash, while I was working part-time at a diner to afford school supplies. Max once told me he overheard Claire convincing Mom I was fine without help because I was so independent. It stung, but I didn't realize how deep her selfishness ran until later. Fast forward to 2020. I was 24, working as an IT tech, living in a small apartment. Max was in college, studying biology, and Claire was freelancing as a graphic designer, building a name for herself. Then Mom got sick, pancreatic cancer. It was like the ground dropped out from under us. She fought for 2 years, but it was brutal. Chemo, hospital stays, the works. I visited every weekend, driving 2 hours each way. Max came when he could, but he was juggling classes and a part-time job. Claire? She moved back home to help. At first, I was grateful. Claire was there full-time, managing Mom's care, meds, and appointments. I thought she was stepping up, but over time, I noticed things. She'd complain about how exhausting it was, yet she was always on her phone, posting about her selfless sacrifices. She'd guilt-trip me for not doing more, even though I was working 50-hour weeks and still helping with bills. Max got it worse. She'd call him selfish for focusing on school. Mom's will was no secret. She'd told us since we were kids. The house and savings would be split 3 ways. Her lawyer, Mr. Thompson, confirmed it during one of my visits. The house was worth about $300,000, the savings $150,000, roughly $150,000 each for me, Claire, and Max after taxes and fees. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was security. For me, it meant a down payment on a house. For Max, it was graduate school. For Claire, who knows? She was already living beyond her means. As Mom got worse, Claire got weirder. She'd dodge questions about the estate saying, "Let's not talk about money while Mom's dying." Fair enough, I thought. But she was spending a lot. New clothes, a fancy laptop, even a weekend trip to de-stress. I chalked it up to grief, but I should have seen the red flags. Mom passed in early 2022. The funeral was a blur. Claire played the grieving daughter perfectly, sobbing louder than anyone. I was too numb to notice how she took charge of everything. Paperwork, bank accounts, you name it. Mom had named her executor, which made sense at the time. Claire was the oldest, the responsible one. I trusted her. Biggest mistake of my life. 6 months after the funeral, I got a call from Mr. Thompson. He sounded shaken. "You need to come to my office," he said. I drove down, heart pounding, with Max on speakerphone. That's when we learned the truth. Claire had stolen everything. She'd forged documents claiming Mom changed the will to leave the house and savings to her alone. The house was already sold. $310,000 gone. The savings account drained, transferred to an account only Claire could access. Mr. Thompson was furious but said fighting it would be tough. The forged documents were convincing, and Claire had already moved the money. He estimated a legal battle would cost $20,000 up front with no guarantee of winning. I was barely scraping by. Max was drowning in student loans. We were screwed. I called Claire that night. My hands were shaking as I dialed. She picked up, voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Oh, sweetie, I know this is hard." I demanded answers. Her response? I took care of Mom for 2 years while you and Max were off living your lives. I deserved it. She claimed Mom wanted her to have it because she sacrificed the most. I screamed that it was our inheritance, our family's legacy. She laughed, actually laughed, and said, "You'll get over it." Max was on the call, silent until then. He started crying, begging Claire to reconsider, even offering to take less if she'd just give us something. She hung up. That was the moment I knew she wasn't just greedy. She was heartless. She didn't care about us, about Mom's wishes, or about the family we'd already lost. Claire moved to a sleek condo in the city, posting Instagram pics of her new chapter. New car, designer bags, vacations with her boyfriend, Greg. Meanwhile, I was stuck in a moldy apartment, working overtime to make rent. Max had to defer grad school, taking a second job to cover loans. Every time I saw Claire's posts, my blood boiled. That money wasn't just cash, it was Mom's love, her sacrifice, our last tie to her. Claire didn't just steal $150,000, she stole our closure. I tried the legal route. I scraped together $5,000 for a lawyer, but it was useless. Claire's forgeries held up in court, and she'd spent most of the money already. The lawyer said we could keep fighting, but it'd take years and tens of thousands more. I gave up, but I didn't forget. I swore I'd make her pay, not with money, but with something she valued more. Claire's always been obsessed with her image. Growing up, she was the girl with the perfect hair, perfect clothes, perfect smile. By her late 20s, she'd turned that into a career. She was a freelance graphic designer, specializing in branding for local businesses, restaurants, boutiques, startups. Her portfolio was her masterpiece, sleek, professional, packed with award-winning designs. She'd won local design contests, gotten featured in industry blogs, and built a client list that included some big names. Her Instagram, 10,000 followers meticulously curated, was half personal brand, half portfolio. She'd post behind-the-scenes shots of her creative process, always with a caption about chasing dreams or building my empire. Her portfolio site was her crown jewel. Every project, testimonial, and client contract lived there, backed up in the cloud. She'd bragged in an interview about how she'd gone fully digital with all her work stored online for efficiency. That was her strength and her vulnerability. I work in IT, mostly fixing servers and troubleshooting software for a mid-sized company. I'm not a hacker, but I know systems, security, and how people screw themselves with bad habits. One night, scrolling through Claire's site, I was hate browsing, I realized something. Her entire career hinged on her digital presence. Her reputation, her clients, her identity as Claire the designer was all online. If that crumbled, she'd crumble too. I didn't want her money. She'd already spent most of it. I wanted to take something she couldn't replace. Her pride, her status, her sense of being untouchable. I wanted her to feel the same helplessness I did when she stole our inheritance. That's when the plan started forming. I'm not a vengeful person by nature. I'm the one who apologizes first, who lets things slide. But Claire pushed me too far. Still, I wasn't reckless. I spent months planning, making sure I wouldn't get caught. I knew what I was doing wasn't exactly legal, so I covered my tracks. No VPNs or dark web nonsense, just common sense and patience. First, I studied Claire's digital habits. She was sloppy. She reused passwords. I knew her old ones from when we shared a Netflix account years ago. Her security questions were predictable. Mom's maiden name, her childhood pet. I didn't want to destroy her life outright. I wanted to chip away at it, make her question herself the way she made us question ours. Step 1. Her email. It took weeks, but I got in using a password reset. She hadn't enabled two-factor authentication, classic Claire, cutting corners. From there, I accessed her portfolio site's admin panel. It was a gold mine. Every project file, client email, contract, testimonial. I didn't delete anything. That'd be too obvious. Instead, I made subtle changes. I altered project dates to make it look like she'd lied about her experience, e.g., claiming a 2018 project was from 2020. I swapped out a few high-quality designs with slightly worse versions I mocked up in Photoshop, not terrible, just enough to look sloppy. I even accidentally emailed a few clients from her account, asking for feedback on projects she hadn't done, creating confusion. Step 2. Her online presence. Claire's Instagram was her public face, so I didn't touch it directly. Too risky. Instead, I created fake accounts posing as disgruntled clients. I left vague reviews on design forums like Behance and Dribbble, hinting at missed deadlines or unprofessional communication. Nothing traceable, just enough to plant doubts. I used burner emails and public Wi-Fi to stay anonymous. Step 3 was the big one. Claire was pitching a major client, a regional restaurant chain called Bella's Kitchen, looking for a full rebrand. She'd been hyping it on social media for weeks, calling it her big break. I knew she'd put everything into this pitch. Using her email, I sent the client a revised proposal. The cover letter was riddled with typos, and the attached mock-up was deliberately awful. Think Comic Sans, neon colors, and clip art. It looked like something a middle schooler would make, but plausible enough to seem like a mistake on her end. Not sabotage. I didn't stop there. I tipped off a local design blog, pretending to be a concerned colleague. I pointed them to her portfolio site, now littered with subtle errors, and suggested they look into her recent work. I knew they'd dig, and they did. The Bella's Kitchen pitch was the first domino. The client emailed back, confused and unimpressed, saying the proposal didn't meet their standards. Claire lost the contract, which was worth $20,000. Word spread fast in her industry. Designers talked, and Bella's Kitchen was a big name. Clients started pulling away, citing concerns about her work. Her portfolio site, now a mess of altered dates and subpar designs, didn't help. One client emailed her about a missing project. Another asked why her work looked inconsistent. The design blog ran a piece titled, "Is Claire last name overrated?" It wasn't outright vicious, but it questioned her credibility, pointing out discrepancies in her portfolio and quoting anonymous clients, aka me. The article got traction, and Claire's name started popping up in the wrong kind of conversations. She posted a tearful Instagram story about trolls and bad luck, claiming she was being targeted. Her followers dropped by 1,000 in a week. Within 6 months, her business was in shambles. She wasn't broke, she still had some of Mom's money, but her client list was shrinking, and her reputation was shot. She tried to rebuild, launching a new site, but the damage was done. Every Google search for her name brought up that blog post or a forum thread questioning her skills. She couldn't escape it. Claire's personal life took a hit too. Greg, her boyfriend, started pulling away. Turns out he liked her successful designer persona more than he liked her. She posted less, her captions less confident, her vibe defeated. I'd check her Instagram, anonymously of course, and see her trying to claw back her old spark, but it wasn't the same. She'd lost her untouchable glow. Meanwhile, Max and I were moving forward. He landed a scholarship for grad school, easing his financial stress. I got a promotion at work, which gave me breathing room. I didn't tell Max the full extent of what I did. He'd probably think I went too far. He just knows Claire's business tanked, and he's not exactly crying about it. Here's where I need your input, Reddit. I know what I did was shady. I didn't steal money or hurt anyone physically, but I messed with Claire's livelihood. I justified it because she stole $150,000 from each of us, $300,000 total, plus the emotional weight of Mom's legacy. But was it too much? Could I have found another way, like confronting her again or letting karma handle it? I don't know. I don't regret the outcome, but I wrestle with the means. Claire's not starving. She's got a condo, a car, some savings, but I took her pride, her identity. She can't replace that, not easily. Every time I see her struggle, part of me feels satisfied, and part of me wonders if I'm just as bad as her. She'll never know it was me, and that's the point. I wanted her to feel lost, like I did, without a clear enemy to fight. So Reddit? AITA? Was this pro-revenge, petty revenge, or just plain wrong? Should I feel guilty, or was this fair play? I'm ready for your judgment. Hit me with it. My sister Claire stole my and my brother's $150,000 inheritance each by forging our mom's will and selling her house. I got revenge by sabotaging her graphic design business, ruining her portfolio, tanking a major client deal, and planting doubts about her reputation. Now her career's struggling, and I'm torn between satisfaction and guilt. What's your take? Edit. Claire didn't go down without a fight. About 8 months after the Bella's Kitchen fiasco, she tried to claw her way back. I kept tabs on her, anonymously, via a burner account on Instagram, and I saw the signs of a comeback. She launched a new portfolio site, cleaner and simpler, with a blog post titled Lessons from a Rough Year. In it, she played the victim, talking about online trolls and industry jealousy without naming names. She admitted to mistakes, like the Bella's Kitchen pitch, but spun it as a learning experience, claiming she was stronger than ever. Classic Claire, never fully accountable, always the hero of her own story. She started taking smaller gigs, logos for local coffee shops, flyers for community events. Her Instagram posts were less flashy, more humble, creative vibes, with captions like, "Back to basics, building from the ground up." She even did a local podcast, painting herself as a scrappy underdog fighting a toxic industry. It was infuriating to watch. She was using the same charm that got her mom's favoritism, trying to rebuild her brand on sympathy. But the damage I'd done lingered. The Design Weekly article was still the top Google result for her name, and clients were wary. I'd check design forums, still anonymously, and her name would pop up in threads like designers to avoid. One poster claimed she'd missed a deadline and delivered a rushed logo. Another said her portfolio felt inconsistent. I didn't start those threads, but I'd planted the seeds and they'd taken root. Her old clients, big names like Bella's Kitchen, wouldn't touch her. She was stuck with low-paying work, far from the glamorous career she'd had. Then came the family reunion. A year after Mom's death, our extended family organized a memorial gathering. I wasn't going to go, too much pain. But Max convinced me. Claire showed up, looking less polished than usual, no designer handbag, just a plain dress and minimal makeup. She hugged me, all teary-eyed, saying, "I miss Mom so much." I played along, nodding, but inside I was seething. She didn't mention the inheritance, and neither did I. Max, bless him, kept his distance, still hurt, but too kind to make a scene. During the memorial, Claire cornered me. "I know you're mad about the money," she said, voice low. "I needed it more, okay? I was drowning in debt from taking care of Mom." I stared at her, stunned. Debt? She'd been buying Gucci while Mom was dying. I didn't argue. I just said, "We all needed it, Claire." She walked away, and I knew she'd never admit fault. That moment solidified it. My revenge wasn't just personal. It was for Max, for Mom, for the family she broke. Claire's comeback stalled. A new client, a boutique hotel, dropped her after finding the Design Weekly article. She posted a cryptic story about haters winning, then went silent for a month. I heard through a cousin that she'd moved to a smaller apartment, selling her BMW to cover bills. She wasn't destitute. Mom's money kept her afloat. But her dream of being a design star was fading. I'd taken her pride, her untouchable image, and she was scrambling to get it back. It's been 2 years since Mom's death, a year since my revenge. Claire's still trying to rebuild, but she's a shadow of her old self. Her Instagram's down to 7,000 followers, her posts sporadic. She's working, but it's small stuff. Flyers, not rebrands. She doesn't know it was me, and I plan to keep it that way. The secrecy is part of the punishment. She's fighting an invisible enemy, just like Max and I did when she stole our inheritance. Max is thriving now. His scholarship came through, and he's in graduate school, studying marine biology. He talks about Mom sometimes, but he's healing. He asked me once if I thought Claire got what she deserved. I shrugged and said, "The universe has a way of balancing things." He nodded, but I saw a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. He's smart. He might guess I had a hand in it, but he's never pushed. I'm doing okay too. My promotion means a better apartment, no more leaky pipes. I've started therapy, working through the grief and anger. I don't check Claire's socials as much anymore. It's less satisfying now that she's down. But every so often, I'll see a post, and that old rage flares up. I don't act on it, though. I got my revenge. I don't need more. Looking back, I'm still torn. Claire stole $300,000, $50,000 from me, $50,000 from Max. She stole our last piece of Mom, our security, our trust. I took her reputation, her confidence, her place in her world. It wasn't clean or noble, but it felt right. Still, I wonder, did I become like her, twisting the knife for my own satisfaction? Could I have walked away, let her live her stolen life? I don't know. So Reddit, I'm laying it all out. Was this pro-revenge, or did I sink to her level? AETA for sabotaging her career. Should I feel guilty, or was this justice for what she did? I'm ready for your takes, good, bad, or brutal. And if anyone's been through something like this, how did you move on? Did revenge help or just make it worse?